questions? Thank you both very much.
Thanks for giving us our opportunity. Appreciate it. And as we get closer to construction, we work with your staff on how best to communicate with you, each of the committees. We're glad to give you a shorter, briefer update if we're close to a phase and get it worthwhile. Thanks.
Trevor, you've got a public hearing coming up.
I do.
Trend.
So I actually didn't bring professional info from.
All right, and I think a copy of
And my name's all over all these projects. It's very simple. Yeah, you just like to know out, that's all the options. Great. They get part of the packet as well.
Oh, sorry.
No, please.
Dave?
Thank you. More people in here care about it.
So we're gonna zoom right through this, right?
I mean, I didn't see.
I did, yeah, not a 9:30 night, can that you mean?
I hope not.
Like Sean was just
I mean, I don't
real quick. Okay.
see,
Let me hold up for a few.
frankly, I didn't. Yeah, probably kind of visited this and I didn't see anything. It's gonna cause a lot of stir, but then half the time when I see this, what time are you talking about? These are extras.
Oh, this is definitely single file.
That never.
You tell Sherry-Ann right there. You know, Sherry-Ann right, know about that?
Short recess.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna call her to make sure that.
Short recess. Early.
Yeah.
I think so.
And he was very against that.
Yeah, he just talking about it very briefly, so.
Part.
You didn't like
Did
Brown?
not.
I think after the
Did not
construction
like 'em.
phase is over, and they actually
At
have
all.
Highway 14 built,
We went
people will
out
think it's so
with
much
Joe
more
Layton and looked
wonderful
at doing some
having
code
construction
inspections of
piece
construction. So
done. 'Cause that'll
the
be that'll be a
contractor
mess.
asked us
Downtown.
if we'd had a problem
Oh, I
in
was
the city
thinking that,
recently
it's like,
about
okay, so I'm just gonna
construction
divert and go to
materials,
Canada.
especially copper.
That's not a very easy solution either.
Lots of times I do.
We had all the building in
I
most
do
Stay on the west slough,
We had a lot of homes.
exit before the High Bridge and take my time.
I'm trying to think how I'm gonna
I wrote down myself.
I've got a plan, but I don't know how
He said somebody'd swipe.
Yeah, he's always
basically
been.
Then everybody would know.
They've seen it and reported the license
But
plate
still.
number, which they
Same design.
apparently tracked down. But, and that was
Well,
within
it's
the
like I
past
said,
few
after the
weeks.
first day, there might be some confusion.
But you,
It
I'll get acclimated.
yeah,
We've had them come in and take appliances, lumber.
especially for the police.
We're done, we finished everything.
Excellent, we're out of here.
Passed a supplemental budget already.
Cool.
But in
Well, I meant for you to keep right on going.
Yeah, I was going to, and then there was a
Not-
few others
not-
that followed you out, so I.
We're back in.
All right. In regards to the request to set a public hearing, there was a request to discuss with legal a little bit further on different opportunities or different alternatives. So I've handed out a memo that was provided by Scott Russin, who was with the city attorney's office. And he spells out 3 specific components of a construction zone. And you'll see that at the top of the packet. First and foremost is to protect workers and their equipment. Second is to protect workers' equipment while they're working or not. And then 3 is protecting drivers' equipment and changes in normal flow of traffic. Basically, it boils down to what Scott refers to as a bright line rule. Either you have a construction zone implemented or you don't. Otherwise, you end up with discretion for either a police officer public employee or for the contractor and or city staff on site. So legal's recommendation at this point is to look at the bright line rule, which is the first option, giving the authority to the public works director to confirm implementing that construction zone. And I did talk to Chief Mitchell about it briefly. We've had smaller construction sites, but not construction zones, obviously, in town. With E Street, obviously, it's brought it to the forefront, especially when it's 8, 9, 10, 11 blocks long. I think Councilmember Russell had mentioned as well, if there was a specific time zone on that construction zone, like after 6 or 7 in the evening, would it not be, would police have the ability to ticket? And what I'm reading from legal is, once it's up, and when it's down, making it a lot more clear. Staff, contractor, and enforcement. So, any questions on that?
Moving on.
Covered on this last page, the second line. Then the penalty for the infraction, it should be shall. That's-
Yeah, all?
Yeah.
I have that highlighted. Yep.
So this, at the public hearing, people will have an opportunity to voice their opinion on 3 different alternatives. Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Yep.
So the ordinance you're gonna present
The
will
ordinance.
pick the the staff recommended one.
Okay.
So the hearing will be on an ordinance to amend the code consistent with the one underline, the single underline area there.
Legal's correct.
The whole chapter is a new chapter.
Yep.
The single underline in 10-17-030 is what changed from what was before you at the last session.
I got it.
Okay.
Well, question for you on that then. In looking at the all caps portion of the violation, if no construction workers are present and no actual construction work is being performed at the time of the violation, then the penalty for the infraction shall not be doubled.
That's one of the alternatives. That is not the preferred recommendation by legal. He's got
So the 3
underscored,
Boom, boom.
double lined, and then capitals.
I got you.
So basically,
Okay.
One, do the option 2 is double.
Once again, the preferred is, once it's up, it's a
Right.
zone.
right,
If the signs are up, it's effective. If the signs aren't up, it's not effective. It gives the Public Works Director the discretion to take the signs up and down, potentially, if it makes sense to do that. I don't know if it would, but there could be a time. What it does is it answers the questions that came up, that there's not an 18-month period where the
Right.
signs are up, and maybe there's a month where they're not doing anything, but there's signs up.
Right.
Hopefully, we wouldn't have that with our project or any project we would ever have, but it could come up.
right.
And in that kind of a context, if it was safe, the cones were backed off, the equipment was off, there weren't 6-inch lips down into gravel sitting there forever, you know, we could yank the signs down for a little while, but
Yeah.
it probably won't be a nightly type of a thing, although I don't wanna say that it would never be that, but it could be. It gives the discretion to Trevor to working with the contractor to figure it out.